So this case of Carmelo Anthony, young brother who stabbed Eric Metcalf at the track meet about 2, 3 weeks ago. This is showing like the bigotry and racism that's prevalent in this country, what this country is pretty much built on and continues to thrive on. And it's coming from, don't want to say both sides, but here's my thing. It's showing that there are a lot of people who are just hypocrites. I mean, seriously, because it's funny when it happened, the first thing people said was they talked about Section 8. They talked about where his daddy at, daddy probably not in the house, all this kind of stuff. But then when you actually look at his bio and you see that the the young fella lives with his mother and father. Mother and father been married, what, 17, 18, 19 years? He's the oldest of four kids. His mother's a stay at home mother. His father works. They rent pretty much $1 million house in Frisco, which means if they're paying rent, they're paying a nice price for that house. And Carmelo Anthony has a 3.7 GPAs on the football team, the track team, got two part-time jobs, doing the thing. And he just did something that sometimes things happen, even to the best of us. Kids, grown folks, we make a decision that can change the rest of our lives no matter what our background is. But they try to use a false narrative, a false background, trying to uh what you call it, try to make it seem stereotype, try to use a negative stereotype on with black people that had nothing to do with this young fella. But then you go to the other side, those same things they try to put on young brother Carmelo Anthony, you go to the other side, and Metcalf, his mother and father were divorced. They're not together, which is why they had like two GoFundMes. And we're going to get into that in just a second. Uh, the father was, from what I saw, had been arrested for an assault back in, and I mean assault like the kind you can't say on YouTube, in 2011. The mother works at a pizza joint alongside her son, like part time. So the question is, how can they afford to live in Frisco where you do have to have? So, well, I would think because Jerry Jones said he wanted to turn Waxahachie to the Frisco of the South, and you go to the Frisco of the North, man, it's like you got to have some money to be there, unless you got, Section 8, which is around all over the place. So the question is, how was she able to afford to live up there in that area? Now, Eric Metcalf, they say he had a high GPA, football team, track, I guess the track team, there's a dispute about that. Captain of this, that, and the third, in the church, Carmelo Anthony in the church. But Eric Metcalf comes from a broken home, which is probably could be the reason why he lashes out the way he did. I mean, act the way he did towards people. You know what I'm saying? So, but that all come out in court. But anyway, with that being said, I saw this video on Instagram and I felt I had to comment on it real quick. I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but here's another moment of American hypocrisy. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do, hit the notification bell so that every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Let's hit it.
The family of Carmelo Anthony set up a legal defense fund, and it was hosted by a individual.
Fair use. I'm sorry.
The family of Carmelo Anthony set up a legal defense fund, and it was hosted by a individual company, and that fund has raised over $400,000. They just lowered his bail from $1 million to $250,000. Since you only have to pay 10%, the family has reportedly bought a new house with the $400,000 that has been raised for this 17-year-old who is accused of in cold blood murdering another 17-year-old at a track meet, stabbed him in the heart, killed him. What does it say for society today that someone can stab teenage boys and they're buying a house? The family.
Interesting. What does it say about this country? Why? What does it say about this country that we are even questioning what somebody is doing with money that was raised? Now, this goes back to the Fonnie Willis over there in Georgia, who I don't know if y'all recall a couple years back, she tried to get funding for like gang intervention. They gave it to her, and then she turned around and said she's gonna use it for something else, and everybody was in the uproar. She said, "Well, hey, this is my money. I could use it for what I want to," and nobody had a problem with that. Now you got somebody who got a problem with what Brother Carmelo Anthony's family is using the $400,000 for. Here's my thing: if and I try to hold anybody accountable, equal opportunity accountability a holder. If they said they was going to use it strictly for the defense fund, and they use it to buy a house, well, think about this. They're saying that they're getting death threats, that they can't leave their home. They're getting threats. So it would probably make sense that they move. And if they don't have the money right offhand to move, well, if people are giving money to help support the family in this young man in their time of need, and they want to use it to move to another location to where they feel they will not get threatened, how are you going to be upset about that? How you going to spin that narrative? Now, if they said now TMZ this morning, and I think pretty soon, by the time y'all see this, the family would have went on TV and held a press conference and spoke about this, spoke about the whole case for the first time. But if TMZ put out this morning saying that the money has not been touched at all, how you gonna sit there and say they have bought a house? So there are the lies right there. People put out false narratives, bullcorn. There are the lies right there. They haven't even bought a house. They haven't even left the house. What house they gonna buy? And so but he got out on bail. But the thing is, he's got out on bail. He got this high powered, high price, high powered lawyer, good lawyer. Now people want to know, how can they afford to pay the bail? How can they afford this lawyer? They ain't took the money out. So which one are you? Want to take the money out or you want to keep it in there? Which one is it? But again, the father has to be making a decent amount of money if he's working, supporting the family, and the mom stays at home with the kids. So he ain't poor. He ain't broke. That's the part I think people really don't want to hear. They don't like them folk don't like to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Because he got a piano. I should have a piano. You know what I'm saying? You can't even play the piano. Don't matter. That he got one, so I should be able to get one, right? So that's the way people think. But folks forget that they raised a lot of money for, Kyle Rittenhouse or Rittenhouse, whatever the hell his name was, when he went out there hunting people down, saying if he had his gun, he'd go out there to wherever he went and acted a fool. And yes, he knocked down a couple of people. Now, he might say that they came after him first. Okay, that's fine. Whatever, he got found not guilty, did his tours and everything, and living his life right now. It is what it is. But before you knew all the facts, you just knew it was a little white boy with an AR-15 or a rifle shooting people. And y'all raised money for that. This dude, from what we found, or from what we hear, that he was defending himself, or a dude was about to beat him up, and he stabbed him and stuck him one time, and unfortunately hit him in the heart and laid him down. That's all you know. But people raise money for his defense to help him get through him and his family to get through this time, because we know how this country works. I told y'all in the first video that when I heard the story and saw the early on details of who was involved, the first thing I said to myself is, why did this have to happen in Frisco? I'm from down here, y'all. Just may not understand where I was coming from, but yes, I'm like, why does this have to happen in Frisco? Man, because it's about to be y'all just don't know. I know what's coming, and sure enough, there it came. All the racism, all the bigotry, all the false narratives, all the lies against this brother. When in fact, everything that y'all said, you folks said about him, you can just say about uh Eric Metcalf, because it fits the narrative of him and his family a whole hell of a lot more than it fit the narrative of this brother. But nobody wants, like I said, but nobody wants to hear it. But like I say, it's like he talked, this dude talking about they raised 400,000. Let me ask you a question. Okay, for his defense, some people say, why he needs so much money for a defense? Let me ask you this question. Why is it that Eric Metcalf's family had to have two GoFundMe pages, one from his mama, one from his daddy? And both of them raised nearly, the last time I checked, it was like almost 3/4 of $1 million to bury the young man. That's what they said. They need help burying their son, and they're getting almost $1 million, over $500,000 to bury somebody. It don't cost that much to bury somebody. It may cost maybe some tens of thousands of dollars, but it don't cost no 500,000, no $750,000 to bury anybody. Anybody ain't like he's like a king or somebody like that, a president or some part of royalty. No, or a rapper. Or a rapper who's trying to go down, you know what I'm saying, who coffin's gonna go down the street on a horse and carriage in a gold coffin. No, none of that. He's just a regular average kid who plays a sport, who may get a scholarship, most likely won't go to the pros, but can use that scholarship to get an education and have a family and become a model citizen. And that's about it. And that's about it. Maybe. I mean, it's not guaranteed. He might end up working at a pizzeria for the rest of his life, or being a pizza manager. Who knows? He might get on a pizzeria one day, but none of that is guaranteed. But yet, this boy's raised, like I said, almost $1 million just to bury them. So why don't they just hold all that money? Just say, here, all you need is the money to bury him, and that's it. But nobody want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, the bigotry and like I said, and I say it's racism that's in this country, man, is here and is not going nowhere anytime soon. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below. Share with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. You know how we do around here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those four things cost you maybe a couple minutes out your day, but it means the world to us at this channel. If you'd like to support the channel financially, you can always give a super thanks, super chat, super stickers, or go to the description box, click on the links below, and there are a couple of links there that you can help support it that way. If you would like something tangible for your dollars, which most people do, you can go to Shopify store. You can go hit the shop button, or you can go to marlonmorale.com, where we have luxury products that I know that you will not be disappointed. Like I said, we got silks products, fragrances, beard products, handbags, and much more. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. With that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.